Welcome to my channel. I'll be showing you how to make this lovely dress. Right, this dress has been made for a while now, so as a good tutor I decided to show you how I made it. So these are the leftover fabrics, but these are the fabrics I use. This is a thick crepe. We'll be needing two colored fabrics, so crepe is a good option. You can use any fabric of choice, but crepe is better, right? So this is a thick crepe and this is the light crepe, okay? And the light one is black, so you can use any color. You can combine any color of choice, right? So we need a masking tape, we need a tracing wheel, and then you need your scissors. You need your magnets and pins, and then your eraser and your pencil. Okay, and very importantly, we also need our curve and then your ruler. So these are the basic tools of which I know you already know how to. All I did is to fold my paper into two, you can see, and then I folded it into two. Right, this is the front, so you need to do this for the front alone. You don't have to place your paper on fold for the back. The back doesn't have any design in particular. Okay, so this is my front. So if you have your master pattern, you can trace it out. If you don't, all you need to do is to fold your paper and start drafting. Okay, so once you finish drafting, make sure your pattern has a bust dart. Okay, so after drafting, you take your tracing wheel and then you start tracing. So you trace the neckline, you trace the shoulder, and then you trace every part of the bodice, right? Connect your lines and then your darts and everything. So this is what I did. I traced it, and this is the other side. So you can see the side here. So what I have on this side is what I have on the other side. So when you open, you have this in full. So what I did is to open up so you can see my full front. So you need your full front from your shoulder to the length of your dress, right? So this is the center line. You can see the crease line is already showing, but I'm just using the pencil to mark it so it will be more visible for you to see, right? So now this is what we'll be doing our alteration. So it's an asymmetric dress, right? So, and I use that manipulation technique right here. So you can see this neckline here. These are the bust points. Then you can see it's asymmetric. It's not a one way. So this is how I wanted it to be, and then it came this other way. So now this is what I did on my neckline here. I came in 1 inch on both sides. So from here to here is 2 inches. So that is why you need your crease line, you need your center line, so you don't measure wrongly, right? So you connect. Now at this point, it's up to you to design it the way you want to design it. Okay, so for me, I wanted it this way. So you use a dotted line. This is my dart leg. I'll measure 1 inch. So I want this center part to just be 1 inch, and then to go around to this side and then to this place. Now we'll be closing this dart, so you still need to use a faint line or a dotted line. Connect to your bust point. Okay, I'm not getting what I want. I'll erase again. So you keep doing this until you get what you want, right? Yes, I think this is what I want. I want it this way. Yeah. So once you're sure of what you want, you can now make it very, very clear. So you can see it's touching the bust point. On this waistline here, I'll come over here and I'll use my pencil also to create a dotted line to be sure it's what I want. Okay, so I can also come out this way. Yes, so it's touching the bust point. If I'm okay, I will now use my curve ruler to curve it more, right? So this is what we have for the up part. Okay, Yes. So now what I will do now is to cut out this waistline, right? I will detach the up from the down. So this is what we, but before then, you can see this part here is extended to this part and then this side. So this is my 1 inch. So this 1 inch, we need it to be very clear here, because we also use this line to get the down part, the design of the down part. So if you are okay with this, with what you've done, you can now cut out. I'm cutting it out. I'll close, so I'll close my waist dart, my bust dart and the waist dart. So we'll have just this and this panel, right? So we'll have 1, 2 and 3, right? So how do we do that? So I will start off from here. So if you are closing the dart, you know you are opening one side to close one side, right? So I'll start off from here, and then my neckline, this is dart here. So I'll be closing this dart and closing this dart. But before, yeah, it's very important. Let me put my paper tape there so that the paper won't slash open completely, because we'll be cutting to the bust point. Okay. All right. So this is my dart now. So what I'll do now, I'll close this dart here. So I'll cut to the bust point. So I've closed my dart. So meanwhile, you cut out your neckline completely so you don't get confused. So now I'm closing this dart here. You can see. So I'll use my tape rule, my paper tape, and close, and I'll close. So I've successfully closed this dart here. So let me do the same to this other side too. So I'll close this, I'll open this part also to the bust point, and then I'll slash this side also. So that is why it's called dart manipulation, right? You stop before the bust point. Don't cut through, guys. You should stop at the bust point. So if it's not laying flat, if it's not closing where you cut again, but be careful not to cut through. So you close this dart also. Then you tape it down. Right. So this is what I have. So now remaining this both ways dart. So we'll be closing this dart. Blend this part here. You can blend it like this. Okay. I'll stop at the bust point here first, and then this dart here. See what I'm doing? I'm cutting from here. I'll stop here. Then I'll bring this dart. I'll stop at the tip. Remember, this is my dart, so I'll push it in. So I'll push it in. And then I'll close. Please let me show you again. So this is my normal, this is how it is. And then this part will be joined to this part here. So this is my dart. I'm taking out this dart from here to here is my dart. So I cut this part and I cut here through. If you don't cut it, you won't be able to close this dart. Okay, so I'm closing it this way. So I'm using this part to close it. So I'll have one full center front. Okay. And I'll tape it down. Before you tape down, please make sure your lines are straight. Yes, so I'm done with this. So what I need to do now is to cut this part out and blend it, the part I blended earlier on. So this is it. So now my dart has been eliminated. So now it's remaining this other dart. You know this is our full front, okay? So now is to close this other dart now. So this is how it's going to go. I'll cut this part out and I'll close this dart. Simple. So remember this part. This is at the center front 1 inch where we'll be connecting to the down part, our down design. Okay. So let me come up a bit so it will be easy to join. Yeah. So you can see. So this is my 1 inch. So I'll also cut this dart. This to the bust point, and then I'll close it. So you can see all of that has been successfully eliminated. Okay, so now what you need to do is to cut out. So if you want to add seam allowance now, you can add at the side, but remember that all this part here will have seam allowance. This will have seam allowance. Every part that we are joining will have seam allowance. So this is a full front, guys. This is a full front. So it's going to look like this when joining. This is 1 inch. Please don't mistake this. Please don't make the mistake of joining it from here, guys. It's not from here. This is here. So this is part of our waistline. If you join it from here, you would have reduced your waistline. In this part won't match up. This will be longer than this. Okay, this one will be longer than this. So this is our 1 inch. The 1 inch center part, the center piece that will mark, that is connecting the down one. So this is it. This is how it's going to be, and this is how it's going to look like. So what you need to do, you add your seam allowance here, you add here, you add for this, you add on your neckline, on your shoulder, and same thing also, you add seam allowance, you add your joining allowance to your waist, and then you add to this part here, and then the center front. Likewise this side also. So you add your seam allowance round. If you're getting value for this video, subscribe, leave a comment, ask your question, and if you're able to replicate this style, you can tag me on Instagram, on Facebook, my full front. So remember, we've done this part already. So anything you're doing, make sure it aligns. Okay, make sure it matches. So this is the one inch. So this is it here. Can you see? This is it here, and then this is the other part. So you can see it has matched up. If you're okay with this, like I said, you can. So I'll continue with my design. So just do what you want. Just keep doing it until you get it. So, and then this one, my dart now, I have to do away with my dart because I don't want to sew the dart. Okay, but if you want to sew the dart, it's fine. So for this now, what I will be doing, first of all, I will trace this out. Okay, so what I will need to do now is to trace out. Okay, so I will trace this part out. I'll cut it out, and then this dart, I don't want to sew it. So another thing that you can do is you measure this dart here. This dart, you can measure it and then take it out from here. So this is what you can do. So this, you measure your dart, what you have here. This dart is 1.5. So my dart is 1.5. I'll come to this part. I'll mark my 1.5 here. I'll mark my 1.5 and I'll connect it. What's the length of the dart? the length of the dart is 6 inches, so I'll mark 6 inches here. So I'll connect from my 1.5 here at the waist, and I'll connect it to my 6 inches. Okay, so I've taken out the dart. So on this side also I will do the same thing here, 1.5 and 6 inches. I'll connect it. So this is what we have. So what it means is that we no longer have that here. Okay, so we no longer have, and that has been eliminated. Okay, and that has been eliminated. So now for you to have this part, this thing to match up, that means this one is not going to work anymore. So what we need to do is to, now you need to get this side here, you come here, you place it, so this is it, and then you get this 1 inch from here, you mark it, so this is it. So now what we'll be doing now, instead of this, so this will now be my new curve line. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have traced this out. Okay, so let me erase this, close this dart here. So this is what you do, you take this part here at 1 inch, and then you come, you mark 1 inch. So from here to here is 1 inch. Okay, so now what you did here is what we'll be doing. So we come back here, and then this part, and then you connect it. And the 1 inch space, 1 inch. So this is the 1 inch. So you see, so our pattern is ready. Okay, our waistline. So you can see what the center part or that part. So you can see everything is matching up correctly. So you can see, and then this is for this part here, and then this will, okay. So guys, can you see? You can see everything matching up correctly. So you can see, so this is the part here, this is for this, and then this is for this. So now it doesn't end here, guys, so I'll trace this out. So this is my side front, this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. So what I'll do now, I'll trace this out. I'll trace this out. I have my plain paper here, so I'm placing this pattern on it. So I want to trace out this part and this part. So what I'm doing now is to pin. I'll pin it down. I'll pin it down so it will be easy for me to trace. Okay, make sure your paper is straight, the under paper is not slanty, and then the one you are tracing up is not slanty also. So I'll take out my pins, and then I'll move my paper again, and then I'll trace out the second, this side. This is what I have. So now I'll be adding my seam allowance around the waistline. So everywhere I'll add my seam allowance here. So after adding my seam allowance you don't guess, so please, so you mark 0.5, 0.5, 0. So this part now we added 1 inch for the to the up part, so my hip will be having 1 inch allowance. So feel free to add whatever allowance you want to add. So okay, so you repeat the same thing to the side also, because your inch allowance should be 0.5 to be your base, and then this will be the overlap, right? This will be overlap number 1, and then this will be overlap number 2. Okay, so this is how it's meant to be. So now remember, I didn't add seam allowance. I would have added seam allowance so it will match up with this. So I've not added seam allowance. So for this, you add the same seam allowance as this one. So if you added 1 inch to the overlap, this also will have 1 inch. So I'm supposed to add 1 inch allowance here, but I didn't. So I will do that. If I'm cutting on the fabric, I will make sure I do that. Okay, so and then this is the seam allowance. So I've added seam allowance to this, and then this. So guys, if you want to join it, let me quickly show you before going. I just remember that I haven't shown you how to join it. So this is how you join. So you take this piece, center piece, you join. You can see our bust. Okay. So you're joining this way. Right. So this is this side. And then for this other side, now this one here. This 1 inch. I don't know this one. Okay. This you add allowance for this one. This is 1 inch. Okay. This is very tiny. Very tiny. Okay. So okay, so you cut them 1-1. Don't place your fabric on fold, please. You don't have to place it on fold. So you open like this. So for this now, this is the black for this center one. So I opened like this. I'm not turning with lining, so I placed it like this, and then I added my seam allowance and I cut. Okay, so for this other one here, I open. So no, this is my leftover fabric, so I cut this out. So after cutting this out, I'm done with this. So I keep this aside and I'll keep the light tray. Then you place your center front on fold, and then you add your waist seam allowance, and then you cut. After cutting this, you keep this aside. Then you take your plain material again. If you are cutting the upper part, if you are placing it on the right side of your fabric, make sure you place the upper part on the right side. Don't place this one on the wrong side and then the upper part on the wrong side. So whichever pattern you are following, just make sure you, because it's open, so just make sure you place it like this. And then I'll cut, if this fabric was wide enough, so I'll place this one also, and then I'll cut it black. I'll cut another one. I'll open the black also, and then I'll place it again. And this is my zip allowance. So I came in on the waistline, right, just to avoid some bulge. So I came in 1/2 inch. So I'm supposed to replace this back. So what I will do now is to add my seam allowance. Okay, so this is the other fabric also. This is what you use to cut the back. So for the back, you can decide to leave it straight like this. Okay, you can leave it straight, or you can decide to slash the waist if you want it to have joining. So any one you want to do. So for me, I slashed it, but I would have just left it, but I just decided to slash this for the one I made. So you can see the overlap now. So this is the overlap. This is this part here, and this is this part here. So this is this part here. You can see it. You can see the way it went inside, and this other side also. So this is how it should be. So I use this crepe. This what I have here is what I use to cut this down part, and that is what I use to line this the upper part. So you have two of these. You have one plain, you have one colored, and then the down part you use it to line it. So same as this part. So the dress does not have lining, you can see. So this is the only part you need to line to conceal this edge here. Okay, so this is it, and you can see the design, the asymmetric design. Okay, so this is all, and then this is the back. You can see the back. I eliminated the back, the waist dart also for the back, so you can do the same the way I did the front, but I sew the upper part. I really don't like sewing that on the skirt part of my dresses, right, especially if it's ready to wear. Okay, so this is it, and this is the front. So thank you so much guys for watching this tutorial. And then this is my sleeve. If you want to see the tutorial of how I made this sleeve, leave a comment in the comment section, right, and I will do a tutorial. So this, I don't like boring sleeves, right? If you know me, all my sleeves are always something else, so I like adding a touch to my sleeve. So I've not done the tutorial yet, but I can do it if I have enough comments. So thank you for watching guys. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment.